Bright. Written by Mary Paddock. Narrated by Adrian Patino Dunn. I don't want to go back to work. Again with the foot. Two one-track minds colliding. She steeled herself against the current snaking through her and slid her feet back out of his reach. Not today. Sometimes I think you need a new real estate broker. Here, sign. He plucked the pen from her fingers and scribbled his name in the first blank. Something bothering you? How was she supposed to answer that? Did she confess that she woke the previous morning and, for a panicked moment, couldn't remember whether she'd ever actually left Clint's the evening before? If she did, she'd have to tell him that she'd heard the steady, familiar snore of her husband and exhaled in relief, and that for a wild few seconds she'd considered inching across the bed and putting her arms around him. But clinging to Jeff because she was relieved she hadn't been caught in a lie took cheating to a level she wasn't ready to descend to. Clint wouldn't press her to share, something she'd previously liked about their relationship. I've just got things to do, Clint. Like what? The pen flew across the blank. Like I'm behind on paperwork like this, and I've got to go grocery shopping. You know, the usual. There's a blank at the bottom. Scribble. A page turn. And after that? Initial here. She tapped the paper. The boys have soccer games. He scribbled something approximating letters. Sometimes I hate soccer. Sometimes I do too. In truth, she didn't mind the soccer as much as she did the conversations about why she missed the games. I've got responsibilities, Clint. You know that. He stretched backward in his chair, retrieving his wallet from his pocket. Pulling out a couple of bills without looking at them, he put them under his empty water glass. I do know. I've been thinking about that. We need to talk about where this is going. Oh? She braced herself for the awaited, this isn't working for me anymore, and was surprised to find herself hoping for it. He held her eyes as he donned a ball cap with the Lockwood Construction logo lettered across the crown, wiggling it until tufts of blonde going to gray hair glinted from beneath the brim. It's not like that, Hannah. Her heart froze for a half-second. What? He smiled at her. I can't keep doing this. I need out. The words died en route to her mouth. Until that moment, she'd liked that smile. It had a dangerousness about it that warned of a take-no-prisoners passion for anyone brave enough to risk it, something she'd been starved for. But as he stood there watching her, she saw nothing of the promised passion. She shook her head wordlessly. Clint leaned over, grabbed her hand, and squeezed it. She tried to pull away, but the grip tightened. The smile vanished for a split second, and she read the coded message it left on an immobile, hard face. He let go, the smile returning as though it never left. Hannah Whitfield stared after her lover as he moved through the crowded diner and pushed the door open with his shoulder. Midday sun spilled down the stairs behind him, leaving his face in half shadow, but he was looking at her. Behind him, she could hear the city street, the hum of traffic just outside the diner, someone tapping their horn at someone who'd turn without signaling. A siren wailed 2 blocks over, coming closer and fading. An impossible cold spring wind whipped through the open door, and all the diners between her table and the exit glanced his way irritably. Newspapers billowed, crackling in people's hands. Napkins left tables and glided across the floor, evading the grasps of waitresses and customers. But Clint didn't move until she raised her hand, the same one he'd squeezed, and waved. The door shifted under his shoulder. Sunlight and shadow swallowed him. An instant later, it was just the closed door, the inside of the diner, and business as usual for everyone except Hannah, who was still shivering. The steady drumbeat of guilt, which had played in the background of her life for better than 6 months, grew louder